Why did everything turn off just when I needed it to not? There we go. Let's make sure we have audio. All good. What's going on? I've got the chat up. I've got some beer. I've got some steaks. Super excited for this one. I'll wait for people to start showing up. I know some of my Kansas State fans might be a little slow popping on this morning. Mike, that's what I've got. I have 2 New York strips here. I would say medium quality at best, but the 2 easily identifiable which is which. We're going to reverse sear one, and we're just going to do the other one completely on the griddle. Anarchy Zach, I saw you. Where did I see you? I saw you. On Instagram. I saw your comment on our which seat would you take, and I agreed with just as long as I can be on the plane, I'd sit anywhere. But being between Ben and Tyler Webster would be a pretty good seat. Ben, if you don't know him, is a real funny guy. And he's going to have his own hunting show. Well, not own. He's going to be a big part of a hunting show that Onyx is getting ready to do. So we're going to start doing some stuff with Onyx. He's a great guy. He and I got friendly through that fishing trip that I go on every year. And so we're going to be doing some partnership stuff with Onyx. So we're really looking forward to that. Kind of centered around what he's doing. I don't want to say too much, but they have a really interesting concept for a hunting show that, as a sports fan, I think is phenomenal. It's absolutely genius. I can't believe no one's done it yet. So that'll be exciting once it comes on. I'm going to pull this closer so I can see all of this. Where's your K-State National Championship shirt? You know what? I wore it to do cardio that morning too, so you can't blame me. I was repping K-State. Honestly though, and I'll say this to Austin's face, like it's something nice that I'm going to say. You can't tell too much from that game. Traveling all the way over to Ireland, and then the field conditions, those were terrible. The fact that your offense looked like a high school offense though, not a good sign. And then worse, you had some family drama going on there, didn't you? Farmageddon turned into a civil war within the Avery Johnson family. So that wasn't a great look, I'll tell you that much. Sorry, I've got something going on with my eye yet again. Started taking something for it to try and stop getting these eye, I don't know what they are, infections in my lid. It's absolutely ridiculous. But what we're doing here, I've got 2 KC strip steaks, inexpensive, got them from Sam's. I am going to prepare them. I'm going to put one on our Camp Chef smoker. The other one, we're just going to cook completely on the griddle. They've been sitting out now for about 25, 30 minutes. I'm just going to pat them dry a little bit. Then I'm going to season them. And then we're going to get one of them on the Camp Chef, and the other one we'll just cook 100% on the griddle. Now with griddle steaks, which I don't know how much you guys pay attention to what I've been cooking and doing, but I've got a griddle from my house, an old Pit Boss. So I've been doing a lot of steaks on them, and I found the easiest and best way to do it is get one side of your griddle super hot, put the middle at low heat, and turn your left or one side completely off. So we're just gonna heat them, get them nice and seared, a couple minutes aside, and then we'll move it over until we reach our desired temperature. I think I'm gonna do this one as the reverse sear because it's just a little bit thicker, and a little bit thicker steaks tend to work a little bit better for reverse sears, and I want this to be as close as possible. They're both gonna get hit with a little bit of butter at the end, and some beef tallow is on our griddle right now. Now I wanna show, even though this was an inexpensive steak, and you'll see it, it's not big, it's a small steak, but it does have some nice intramuscular fat, right? So we've got these little pieces which are intramuscular fat, subcutaneous fat, And then I would call this kind of intermuscular fat, right? So it's the intramuscular fat on a steak like a strip that we're looking for. That subcutaneous fat's not really gonna add much to it. We'll still eat it for sure, but it's those little dots, those little runs of fat that are actually just in there, you know, the marbling, for lack of a better word, that are gonna give it that delicious, delicious taste. So I'm gonna grab this, throw this on our camp chef, which I have at 220 degrees. And I'm gonna leave my keys right by the door out here so that I don't lock myself out. And we're gonna set that on there. It's probably only gonna take 10 minutes before we wanna flip it, because I'm gonna wanna pull that thing right at about 110 degrees. Once it's 110 degrees, we'll go get it super hot on our griddle and we'll finish them both up. Once I flip the first one, we'll put that one on the griddle outside. So we'll move everything outside at that point. But for right now, it's just a waiting game of about 10 minutes. Yep, I'm flying solo again. I am gonna be here next week, even though it is Memorial Day. We figured the possibility that a lot of people will be winding down their day around 6 p.m. We are also going to start doing these at 6 instead of 7. That was just based on a couple of requests and some YouTube analytics where it looks like more people are on at 6 than 7. So figured we might as well cast as wide a net as possible. Speaking of that, I don't have a coupon for you. Yep, Sinister MD, we're doing the reverse sear versus just cooking it all on the griddle. I just put the one on the Camp Chef pellet smoker combo. I've got it set at 215 degrees. We're gonna let it cook out there for about 10 minutes. Then when we go out there to flip it, we're gonna put this onto our regular griddle. What we're gonna do with it basically is I've got one side of the griddle as hot as I can get it. Gonna do this 2 to 3 minutes aside, then move it to the other side of the griddle, which I have turned basically all the way down. So I've got hottest in the middle, slightly down in the one to the left, medium to low on the other one, and completely off on my left-hand side. So I'll just move that over there. Residual heat will keep cooking in a good amount. And my goal is to pull them both at just about 120 to 125. Then we're gonna let them sit for a couple of minutes, let them cook just a little bit more as they're sitting there. And also some of the juices are gonna reabsorb into the meat. When we're cooking steaks, one of the biggest mistakes that, I mean, I imagine if you're watching this or if you're a Meatgistics member, this isn't a problem for you. But what a lot of people do, they eat it almost right off the griddle, however they're cooking it. And unfortunately, when you do that, you cut into it, it looks nice and juicy because your juice just spills all over the cutting board or plate or whatever you're on. But what you want to do is let it nap, and that's going to allow the fibers of the muscle to reabsorb some of that meat. I am going to get you guys a free shipping coupon here. And I apologize, I meant to do this earlier. But actually, would you guys rather have 15% off or free shipping? I'll wait for a couple of that. 7 is not past my bedtime. I don't go to bed early anymore. I mean, I still go to bed early, just not ridiculous early like I used to. That's because, as is obvious from the bulge, I don't work out in the mornings anymore. I do cardio at my lunchtime though. Yep, the rest is extremely important. So yeah, just let me know if you guys would rather see a 15% coupon or a free shipping coupon, and I will get that set up. If I remember how to do all this stuff. I do. Cool. But I'm not gonna do anything. You're not getting both. You're not getting both texts. I know you had a rough weekend. Kansas State losing. Think about the weekend Austin had. I mean, he's seriously behind the 8 ball with me now. However, we play Miami week 1, which is a tougher game than Iowa State. And we very easily could lose that. When I say we, I mean Notre Dame. I obviously am not part of the team. Oh, this eye is driving me nuts though. Keeps like almost clouding over. It's my lower eyelid. I can feel it getting like puffy. All right. So about another 6, 7 minutes, we'll go out there, flip that one, and get this one going. Reverse searing doesn't have to be an incredibly long process. If we've got a big, nice, thick steak, it's going to take a long time, but with these, it's really only going to take about 20 minutes to get it up to the temperature I want to transfer it over to the cooking or searing surface. Yeah, Sinister, I don't know if that's the case, though. Mine's been going on. I've been having eye problems for the last, like, 4 or 5 months. Ryan, what game are you talking about? You guys don't even... Do you play another ranked opponent all year long? I think that was your only ranked opponent. No, it's not a sty. Like, I did have a sty in this eye at one point, and this is what I thought they all started out at. So I kept trying to hot pack it to get rid of it, and it just made it worse and worse and worse. And finally, I started using ice on it, and it got better pretty quick. So, not a sty. It does seem to happen way worse when I wear any glasses. As soon as I put like reading glasses on, I can feel it sometimes just a few hours later. And the glasses are clean. I've tried wiping them all down with alcohol. So there's nothing on the glasses. My current theory is my eyelashes rub against the glasses. I don't know if that's even possible, but it's the only thing I can come up with. Who plays ND this weekend? Oh, North Dakota? That makes more sense. Just trying to keep an eye on our time here. So yeah, we got a couple more minutes. Yep, I have eyelid wipes, like rubs, scrubs. I've been using those too. So I don't know what's going on. It's driving me nuts though. It's not pink eye. You sound like Flip. He wouldn't shut up about it being pink eye, and it is not pink eye. All right, I'm gonna grab another beer. Ooh. So Tex, who is ND though? Is that North Dakota? Is North Dakota, wouldn't that be NDSU? North Dakota State University? I've got to keep these keys on me or I'm going to get locked out tonight because we'll be going inside and outside so many times. Figure there's a high likelihood of me locking myself out tonight. Keep my phone in my pocket too in case I have to call Allie or somebody to come rescue me. That'll be a fun phone call to make. But no, we're going to do a couple other somewhat interesting things here. We've been releasing a ton of YouTube videos. We've got a pet food one coming out really soon. We used Gruber as our first tester, and then my dog is eating a bunch of it. They absolutely love it, and it was pretty easy to make. We've got a series coming out eventually, Beef on a Budget. Beef has gotten so insanely expensive now. We're just going to give some tips on how to spread your money longer if you want to eat a high beef diet. That could also be called the John wants to eat more beef and have Allie pay for it plan, but we're going to make some good content out of that. And then, oh no, we'll have some extra beef at the end. I don't know what will happen to it. So I'm looking forward to that one. A friend of mine had eye issues for months. She thought it was pink eye, but ended up being an infection that needed antibiotics. 2 weeks later, it was gone and never came back. That is kind of my current theory, that it is some sort of infection. I thought it went away because it had been fine for a while, but I mean, it just came storming back. And I did have a crazy busy weekend. I had, Tex, you'll like this, I had 4 showings on my house in 4 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all in the morning, had showings. And the people on the Saturday and Sunday were talking to our real estate agent. So I've been glued to my phone all day looking to see if I get some sort of offer coming through. But nothing as of yet. That sounds like a great, yeah, it should be fun. Gordon Ramsay for Temu. One of my favorite things was somebody once called Detlef Shrimp the homeless man's Larry Bird, but I like the Temu reference now. That's a good one as well. All right, we're gonna go flip that one, and we'll bring everything outside. I will be right back for you guys. Actually, I'll take you with, take you with me now. All right. No, verify we have keys. Yep. And as you can see from quick flip, we've got nice white smoke coming off that hot side. God, it is tough to see anything out here, huh? I guess that's what's happened or happens with the dark top and the light in the back. And as always, I'm using the Walton's Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub. Now, obviously, I'm an enormous homer, but I really do like this better than anything else on a steak. Toss that on there. We'll let it sit for just a minute or two, maybe 3. Once it moves freely, then we'll go ahead and flip it. Let's see if we can get a better angle on that. Still trying to kind of figure out how to use this new tripod to its best advantage. And as you can see, unfortunately, this isn't a perfectly level surface. So I've got a ton of beef tallow that just collects on the side here. I've tried moving it a few times. This has adjustments in the back, but I've been all over this trying to find out, or like I've moved this thing all over the place. I've used those adjustments to their maximum on both sides, and I just cannot get it perfectly level. And if it's not level at all, this beef tallow, because it basically cooks down to water, or the consistency of water at least, it just goes. Tex, can you ever have too many steak or seasonings? Yeah, ND, I did a cleaning of my spice drawer at home about 2 months ago, and I just threw away a bunch of them. But I will never throw out the Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub. It is absolutely delicious, and I really do think it's the only thing I will ever put on steaks again. Now, if I'm eating like a really nice Wagyu steak, that really does just need salt and pepper. So we're not quite there yet. It's about to release, but we're still kind of stuck on the bottom there. Once I can push that steak and it'll just move no problem, then we'll go ahead and flip it. While that's going, I will get the temperature of this steak. Make sure I don't overcook this. And I'm at 100 degrees over here on this steak, so we've got just a couple more minutes on that. Once that hits about 112-ish, we'll probably go ahead and grab that and bring it over here. So there you go. We're gonna flip it. Got a nice crust on there. You guys can see all of it when I get everything on a single plate. Yeah, ND, when Austin and I used to drink on podcasts all the time and live streams, we do that as well. We obviously don't do that as much anymore. But I figure it's after working hours here, and I'd be drinking at my house, so I might as well have a few while we do this. And a steak without a beer just isn't a steak. I know who ATK is, but I cannot think of it now. Whoever they are, I mean, they're wrong. Steaks don't need to be flipped more than once or twice. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Yeah, I can. Look at that. What is everybody's preferred pull temperature range? I like to try and get it off somewhere in between 120 and 125. If I'm cooking a really good steak, I'll pull it at 115. But, okay, yeah. I don't know if Tex is messing around, but if they really say flip it every minute or so, I don't know why they would do that. This might be some of that cook a steak frozen stuff that's people have been talking about now. I just don't agree with it. I like touching the meat as little as possible. On my griddle at home, when cooking a steak, I've been trying to do crushed garlic next to it. I just didn't have any garlic with me this time. Yeah, that released pretty well. See where we are in temp. And this says we're at 90 degrees. So we'll leave it over on this hot side for just a few more minutes. Boy, that can't be very hot, can it? Yeah. We're gonna grab our reverse seared, and we're gonna pop it right down behind that. It's a nice sizzle sound. I'm gonna push this right up against that oil to get a little bit more fry, but I don't think my surface is as hot as I want it to be, because this should be above. Okay, that area of the steak says it's 98. That should be hotter than that. I'm gonna grab another thermometer just to make sure. It's always good to double check. Okay, this one's saying it's 109. So we're gonna take this steak, pop it over on the cooler side. And our reverse sear says it's about the same temperature. It's 113. Yeah, I looked for my infrared gun, but I think I lost it in the move. Or there's a possibility I brought it to my house for one of these live streams and forgot to do it. Yes, Sinister MT, I don't disagree that the possibility of that being a 12-inch probe could potentially be causing some issues there. And we've got a decent sear on that. It's not perfect, but it's fairly nice. Zoom in more. Got a good little glaze there. Stand up on your edge for a second. Come on. There we go. Welcome to my world, ND Mike. I want steak all the time. It is the number one thing I would want. Well, that might not be true. If I could eat anything I wanted with no health consequences, it would probably go pizza number one, steak number two, followed very closely by lobster. Yeah, they're just some cheap strips I picked up at Sam's. I didn't want to spend a ton of money, and good Lord, is beef expensive. It's gotten to the point where I think this will be the fourth time I've had steaks in the entire month of August. Is that true? Well, I'm pretty sure that is. The number of times I've picked up a steak at the grocery store and just gone, I can't justify that, and put it back. ND Mike, I was behind a guy on Saturday night with his lights turned off. Yep, we're gonna pull that. With his lights turned off as he was driving. Came up around a corner. That says 126.7, so we'll pull that. We came up around a corner to a Quick Trip. Cop sitting right there, almost like he was waiting for him. Not sure if the guy was drunk or whatnot, but he turned on his lights. The guy pulled over a little bit. I stopped behind him because there wasn't any way to get around him. I saw him go up and tap on the guy's passenger window, and I heard him say, "You got to roll down your window." And immediately I was like, oh yeah, this guy's hammered. And he made him pull into this little extra road or like side road. And I figured that guy was in for a bad 24 hours. I imagine DUIs make cops extremely angry. As they should. It's incredibly dangerous. Oh yes, look at those bad boys. And Allie, if you're in the chat, unless I eat all of this, which is a real possibility, I will vacuum seal some of it so you can have some for your dinner tomorrow. But real possibility that I eat all this. All right, can you guys see everything? Why is this so far behind? Wow, that's way far behind. Let me fix that angle. That's better, I think. It's too zoomed in. I think that's good. All right, get this out of here. The real star of this, no matter how we do it, well, other than the beef, is going to be the beef tallow. I have fallen in love with cooking with beef tallow. It makes the best fried rice in the world. You can't convince me that there's a single other oil, fat, whatever that you could use with fried rice that's anywhere near as good as beef tallow. Also, obviously works well for steaks. And deep frying. Oh my God, the change in how I feel after I eat something deep fried in beef tallow versus like canola oil, peanut oil, anything like a palm seed oil, night and day. I don't get that like heavy, loggy feeling. I'm not a huge, no seed oil guys. I cook with sesame seed oil all the time. But beef tallow is a better deep frying oil than any of the ones that we've been using for the last however long. Okay, so compound butter seems like, so I've had some steaks with compound butter, and absolutely it is good. And I've never done it, so I don't really know, but it seems like such a process. Like I watched a guy do it, I was like, I don't think it's that good. Like I could save the time it takes to make that and just do something else and then buy a nicer steak. 85% chance you're going to jail. What, me? Oh, with a DUI. I was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. I do like to coat the top of a freshly cooked steak in butter. It's a little bit of a cheat, but whatever. It tastes absolutely delicious. So what we have right here is on my right, which should be your left, I've got the reverse seared, and over here, I've got the one that's done completely on the griddle. I think you guys know how I feel. I fully expect this steak to be better than this steak. Reverse searing, the slower cook, is just gonna help break down some of that delicious intramuscular fat a little bit more. I think it will taste better. It'll be a little bit tenderer. I think this steak is probably gonna be about 5 degrees past where this steak is. I'm gonna temp them again right before I eat them. But I generally prefer a reverse seared steak. Hiccups already? Was I hiccuping? That's probably just a burp. And I only get hiccups when I have too much nicotine, not too much beer. That's why I had to make sure that I use the 2 milligram nicotine lozenges and not the 4 milligram. I do have some venison, so we are going to get an answer on how good the Walton's peppery au jus jerky seasoning is with venison. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. Super excited about that. For anyone who doesn't know, we have a new seasoning. It's called Walton's peppery au jus, and it makes, in my opinion, the best jerky I've ever made. And we were really interested in what it's going to taste like with venison. So I had somebody who had a couple extra roasts that they were willing to let me play with if I obviously let them take their meat back. So tomorrow I'm making peppery au jus venison jerky. We'll see how it is. I'm betting it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. Google once made compound butter with a Big Mac that was all blended together. I love that guy. He's hilarious and I mean, kind of a food genius at a certain point. Yeah, I can't wait. And D-Mike, I will let you guys know. I'll post some stuff on it ahead of time. We'll try to not just do it on social media, but post it on Meatgistics first. But I think, like I really do think, this should be our best selling jerky seasoning in a very short period of time. Jerky's so expensive, like it's a pricier seasoning. I think it's like $24.99, but that's $1 a pound, and it's, once you taste it, it is well worth that $1 a pound because it is absolutely delicious. Now, that's if it works well with venison. Maybe it doesn't. Can't imagine how it wouldn't, but for anyone who didn't see the last podcast we released, or 2 podcasts ago, with Dan Stark, I got to try moose for the first time, and jeez, was that good. You know, I've been a big fan of elk for a long time, how much like beef it tastes. If you didn't tell me that that wasn't beef, I would not have known. It was absolutely amazing. Turns out it only costs about $20,000 to go hunt a moose like the normal way. Dan does it a little bit differently. He has some friends up in Alaska, but I asked him, like, what would you be all in with just like a regular outfit? He's like, oh, about $20,000. So that's not really attainable for most people. But if I ever get the opportunity to do a moose hunt, I 100% will be doing that. It's a lot of work, but seems very worth it. All right, so we were at 127, 128 on the reverse seared steak, and on the one we did just on the griddle, we were at 124. 124.2, 124.3. Yeah, we're 142, or 124, sorry, 124. So, first thing we're gonna do is I'll give them both a cut, then I'll come over there. We can see the cook, or I'll hold them up at least. So we have a very nice, even cook on this. This is gonna get messy. Let me grab a plate. Should have thought that one through better first. So from a cook perspective, that's pretty perfect. They're both really very nice cooks. So this, on our left, this is the reverse sear, and this is the one done just on the griddle. As you can see, a little bit better of straight from the sear, pink all the way through. Here, there's a tiny bit of gradient, but it's not bad, right? It's not a huge amount of that. So on both of these, we have a nice crust, and then pretty perfect and pink on the inside. So now it really is just about taste and tenderness. I'm gonna do the griddle one first so I don't spoil my palate. Flavor's amazing. Cooking it in that beef tallow is just awesome. A little chewy though. I don't know if you could hear that there, but that's a little chewier than I would normally like it. Now that could be possibly because I took an enormous piece. Now for the reverse seared one. It's just better. It could possibly be because, it could possibly be because the reverse seared, the first part of it was on a smoker, so it's got a little bit of a smoky flavor to it. That's definitely could be playing into it. But in general, the reverse sear is it's a better flavor. Even an inexpensive steak, which those were. I think if you broke it down, I got 5 steaks for 40 something bucks, and they're smaller steaks, but you know, that's still pretty cheap for beef nowadays. Cooking it with the reverse sear just gives it that little extra bit of tenderness, the little bit extra flavor. And even on a cheaper steak, it's awesome. Absolutely in love with that. Yeah, so I always use Walton's Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub. For a while, Austin got me into the spicy Ultimate Steak and Roast Rub, and all that was we were taking a little bit of habanero powder and mixing it in with it, but that was more of a novelty. There is a clear difference in tenderness between these two. If you looked at these steaks first, they were about the same thickness, they had the same marbling, they were treated exactly the same before they hit the grill. When they come off, the reverse sear is absolutely more tender than the one we just did on the griddle. And I mean, it's not like that one is in any way, shape, or form overdone, right? I showed you the cook. It was fairly, at least perfect from what I want. We let them nap for about 5 minutes so they could reabsorb most of that juice. So the only thing I can figure is that it is the cooking method that makes that difference. Now, You might call me a homer and just say I'm choosing that one because I've always loved reverse sear steaks, and that's possible. But you know I hate the term mouthfeel. It's a stupid term. The chew on it is just better. I don't feel like I'm having to work to break apart those muscle fibers. They're just starting to melt as soon as I start chewing. My wife is gonna ask me what I did this evening. She's gonna laugh when I say, watch John eat steak while I ate chips and salsa. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that either. My girlfriend makes this unbelievable corn dip. It's corn, sour cream, cheese, chives, a couple other things. 2 times Saturday night I woke up and my very first thought, in the middle of the night, my very first thought was, there's corn dip and chips out there. And I got up at like 1:30 and 4 o'clock and went out and ate a bowl of it each time before I went back to bed. Snack food is 100% valid. It tastes really good at the middle of the night. Yeah, Tex, that's probably not a bad idea. I don't have anyone else here to help me with that though. Is there a way, because I still have 2 halves of steak, is there a way I could do it? There's not. I wish there was, because that's a good idea. We should have done some sort of blind taste test. Oh, this reverse sear steak is so good. So in my mind, that's it. Reverse sear over regular cook every day of the week. It is an actual difference. And what did it add? It took maybe 10 minutes longer, if that. No, once we start talking about, you know, 1 inch and a quarter, 1.5 inch steak, then it's going to take a good amount longer. Does anyone have any Walton's questions or non-steak or steak related questions? I did a lot of research today. I'm getting ready, and we might do a smaller cut first, but I am getting to the point where I think I'm ready to tackle prosciutto in our dry curing cabinet. Here, let me show you this. This is what sat in my dry curing cabinet for 6.5 weeks. That is salami that I used TSPX with, and I added some red wine, that velvet buck stuff, and some peppercorns. You can see the peppercorns in there. Sliced it up on our slicer nice and thin, and this stuff is just over the top good. So I think I'm ready to move on from sausages to other things using our dry curing cabinet. Not that I don't love making the sausages, because I do. Yeah, I guess they are hiccups, aren't they? But I want to tackle something different, more difficult. And as far as I'm aware, prosciutto is one of the more difficult things, just because of the level of technicality it takes. You have to be dead on with your drying times, with obviously your seasoning and your brine, everything. Well, brine, your dry brine, and then it's patience. And that's my big worry, is my patience. If that really has to sit in there for 6 months, can I wait 6 months? I probably cannot wait 6 months. In general, ribeye or prime rib, it's not even close, ribeye. Like, I don't, in my mind, that's not even, I don't even get excited in general when I see ribeye on like a menu at a banquet. Like if we're going somewhere and they're like, oh, Saturday's dinner is ribeye or prime rib. I'm like, yeah, okay. But if somebody says they have ribeyes or strip steaks, then I get happy. I just don't think it's that good. Yeah, so we did that differently. ND Mike, I broke out my fat and I ground that through a 3/8 plate one time, and everything else I did through 3/16 plate. So I wanted those nice big chunks of fat. Yeah, we can do a how-to on that corn dip because it is legit amazing. Especially if you use I don't know if you have Dillon's up by you, but like your Kroger brand or whatever, they have a chip guacamole, like a guacamole chip, store brand, and they are awesome. They have a little bit of spice to them. They're phenomenal. Are you going to be cooking any flank or skirt steaks? Yeah, for beef on a budget. Yep, we will cover flank steaks for sure. Because, I mean, why wouldn't we? We want to talk about, well, even that's not cheap anymore. And just as an FYI, they're saying in the next month, beef prices are going to go way higher than they are right now even. I think beef is the second biggest protein price increase over the last year, like year over year. Number one is eggs, because eggs have gone insane again. But I think beef is up something like 18% over what it was this time last year, which was already high. Eggs are up like 22% at the moment. So they're saying beef is going to jump pretty significantly. So just act accordingly. If you have any big dinner parties planned, go ahead and make sure that you buy your beef as soon as possible. Yeah, $3,000 a calf. Oh my good Lord. I don't know about that, Pastor. I mean, I assume you could get that from too much of anything. Too much magnesium, I know for a fact will do that to you. There is very few things as nice as just a cheap domestic beer and a good steak. The two tastes make me feel very American for whatever reason. Have you guys noticed, like, since I started using this, you can't see it, but I'm wearing a mic. It's a little wireless mic. It's like the last 4 live streams, has the audio been better? I heard one person say that or 2 people tell me that it has been, but it doesn't really take anything else for us to do it, but it's a cool little wireless just clip-on thing. Hooks to something that just plugs into the charging point or port of the phone. And it just makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, so I'm happy with the sound when I listen back to it. It's much better than when we just used to let the microphone from the phone pick everything up. Tex brings up a very sensitive subject. I don't cook over charcoal. I just don't. Tex, are you going to bring up the fact that I beat you soundly when we went head-to-head on steaks? I mean, if you want to bring up painful things, I'll bring up painful things. No, I'm a big proponent of pellet smokers with some sort of finisher for sears. I can't remember the last time I cooked a steak from start to finish on a propane grill. I know I've done it recently because my buddy's got a propane grill and I was over there cooking steaks that was a year ago. Actually, that was more than a year ago. Yeah, it was last July. But anyways, I just think it tastes better if you start it out on a pellet grill and finish it up on some sort of really, really high heat source. No, Austin declared a draw? What are you talking about? That is absolutely not correct. There was no draw. It was a sound defeating. You tried to get too fancy. If I remember correctly, you were doing some sort of mayo covering. Doesn't need it. Simple is best sometimes. Also, don't bother, not bother. Austin, I think, is pretty sick right now, so leave him alone for a day or two. I know he was miserable during the game. I got a text later that day. It just said, no excuses, but, and then there was a wall of texts of nothing but excuses why K-State lost. Which, one of those, the field conditions, I 100% agree with. I mean, it's hard to tell anything when everybody's slipping and sliding. It's just, at that point, it's who has the right cleats and who makes a few lucky plays. But yeah, he was fairly miserable. Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna end it. I appreciate it. I think we've definitively come down on the side of a reverse sear. Yeah, no, it looked like, who said this? I can't remember who said it, but like, have you ever seen a hockey rink when they start taking all the ice off? Like, you can vaguely see the old logo and lines and stuff, and that's what the field looked like there, and that's a good description of it. Like, it was hard. We'll see you guys.